Stop. Look at your hand right now. Do not look away. You think you are seeing it in the present moment, don't you? I am sorry to tell you this, but you are hallucinating. What you are seeing is a ghost from the past. Because of a fundamental biological glitch in your brain, you are living exactly 80 milliseconds behind reality. You have never seen the now. You never will. And in the next 8 minutes, I am going to prove that your entire reality is a time-delayed simulation. Lift your hand in front of your face again. Snap your fingers. You heard the sound, and you saw the movement at the exact same time, right? It felt like a unified, instant moment. But science tells us this is impossible. Light travels at 300,000 kilometers per second. Sound travels vastly slower, at just 340 meters per second. Physically, the visual information hit your eyes, long before the sound hit your ears. Yet, your brain presented them to you as happening at the exact same instant. How? Because your brain is lying to you. It is holding back the visual information, waiting for the sound to arrive, and then stitching them together in a post-production editing room inside your skull. You are not living in a live broadcast. You are watching a delayed tape recording. Let's dive deep into the hard science. We tend to think of our nerves as fiber optic cables, transmitting data at the speed of light. But they are not. They are wet biological tubes. They are chemical reactions. And compared to the speed of the universe, they are incredibly slow. When light photons hit your retina, they don't just jump into your brain. They have to be converted into electrochemical signals. This process, called transduction, takes time. Then, these signals have to travel down the optic nerve. But they don't flow like electricity in a copper wire. They jump from node to node. This takes more time. Finally, the signal arrives at the visual cortex at the back of your head. But it's just raw data. Your brain has to process shapes, colors, and motion, and then assemble them into a coherent image. Neuroscientists have clocked this total processing time. It takes roughly 80 milliseconds. To a supercomputer, 80 milliseconds is an eternity. It is enough time for a computer to process millions of calculations. Even in the physical world, light can travel around the entire Earth 6 times in that short window. But for you, you are still buffering. This means that everything you see right now, this video, the walls of your room, the face of a loved one is outdated news. You are effectively blind to the true present. So, if we are living in the past, why doesn't the world look like a badly dubbed kung fu movie? Why don't we see lips move before we hear the speech? This is where your brain performs its most elaborate magic trick. It creates a temporal window. Your brain knows that your senses have different lag times. Vision is slow. Hearing is slightly faster. Touch is variable depending on how far the body part is from the brain. For example, if you touch your nose and your toe at the exact same time, the signal from your toe has to travel nearly 2 meters, further up your spinal cord than the signal from your nose. Physically, you should feel your nose first, and then your toe milliseconds later. It should feel like 2 separate events. But it doesn't. You feel them simultaneously. This is because your brain actively waits. It pauses the processing of the faster signals like the touch on your nose to allow the slower signals from your toe to catch up. It collects all the sensory data within a window of about 80 to 100 milliseconds, edits them to align perfectly, and only then releases the information to your conscious awareness. You are not experiencing reality as it happens. You are experiencing a report of reality that your brain has curated for you. Your consciousness is always the last one to know. This delay presents a massive problem for survival. In a dangerous world, 80 milliseconds is the difference between life and death. If a predator attacks you or a car speeds towards you, you cannot afford to wait 80 milliseconds to see where it is. By the time you see it, you would already be dead. So, how do we survive? The answer lies in a theory called predictive coding. Your brain is not just a passive camera, it is a time machine. It constantly predicts the future. Let's look at the famous flash lag effect. Imagine a rotating arrow moving in a circle. Suddenly, a light flashes at the exact position of the arrow. Physically, they are aligned. But if you ask human observers, they will swear that the arrow was ahead of the flash. Why? Because the brain treats moving objects differently than static ones. Your brain knows it is running late. So, when it sees an object in motion, it calculates its trajectory and speed, and then projects an image of where the object should be. 80 milliseconds in the future. It shows you a predicted future for the arrow. But the flash of light? That is unpredictable. The brain cannot forecast it. So for the flash, you see the delayed past. The result is a glitch in your reality. You see the future of the arrow and the past of the flash simultaneously, causing them to look misaligned. This proves that what you see is a virtual simulation, constructed by your brain to compensate for its own slowness. This predictive mechanism is the only reason sports exist. Consider a baseball batter facing a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. The ball travels from the pitcher to the home plate in about 400 milliseconds. It takes the batter's brain at least 200 milliseconds just to process the visual information and send a motor command to swing the bat. If the batter waited to see the ball over the plate before swinging, it would be physically impossible to hit it. The ball would already be in the catcher's mitt. Professional athletes are not reacting to what they see in real time. They are swinging at a ghost. They are swinging at where their brain predicts the ball will be. They are playing a game in the future, while their eyes are stuck in the past. We are all time travelers, constantly jumping 80 milliseconds into the future to interact with a world we haven't essentially seen yet. It gets even deeper. This delay doesn't just affect what you see, it affects who you are. In the 1980s, a researcher named Benjamin Libet conducted a controversial experiment. He asked participants to move their wrist whenever they felt like it, and he monitored their brain activity. He found something that shocked the scientific world. The brain showed a spike in activity, a readiness potential preparing to move the wrist, before the participants were consciously aware of their decision to move. The brain decided to move roughly 350 milliseconds before the person thought, "I want to move." What does this mean? It means that even your own thoughts and decisions might be subject to this delay. By the time you think, "I decided to do this," your brain has already started the process. Your conscious self might just be the narrator, reading a script that your brain wrote milliseconds ago. We are not the captains of the ship. We are the passengers thinking we are steering, while the autopilot made the turn seconds ago. So what does this mean for our existence? It leads us to a profound philosophical realization. The present moment, that elusive concept we chase in meditation, art, and philosophy is biologically impossible for us to access. We are forever chasing the tail of reality, always one step behind. The star you see in the night sky might have died millions of years ago. The sun you feel on your skin is 8 minutes old. The thunder you hear is seconds old. And the smile you see on your loved one's face, that happened 80 milliseconds ago. We are lonely time travelers, locked in a private capsule of the immediate past. But there is a haunting beauty in this delay. It means your brain is working tirelessly every single millisecond to construct a seamless, logical, and safe world for you. It hides the chaos, it fixes the lag, and it constructs a narrative of now, just so you can exist without confusion. So look around you. The world as it is right now is gone. But your mind keeps it alive. You don't live in the present. You live in the story of the present. And perhaps that story is more important than reality itself.